Orders right now, and see if you'd join me with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We go to roll call.
Councilmember Kay,
Here.
Councilmember Stroman,
Here.
Councilmember Engel,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Walker. Here. Mayor Hagan.
Here. So before we go to the consent calendar, we have a presentation tonight for some people that really exemplify what community means. Obviously, the Barzan family had a terrible situation with their house burning down. Oh, and kids, it sounds like 7 kids specifically, came up and tried to do everything they could to help, and as well as Anna Baker. It shows us what our community is all about, and this is how people really should act within their community, helping each other when times are tough. So I wanted to go ahead and say to the family, I'm terrible to hear, or terrible to see, and to hear that call that night that your house had burned down, and hopefully you'll be able to collect the pieces and bring it back together. Some of that stuff you probably can't replace. As far as the kids, good work. That's exactly what we want to do in a community like ours. Help when you can, see something, be the solution. So good work. Anna Baker as well. Thanks for being the hub for all of this to help people with donations. And it's my understanding the kids raised about $1,150. Is that right? On the lemonade? Oh, nice. From selling cookies and lemonade, right? So good. That's awesome. Well, with further ado, I want to give you guys some recognition. And so let me kind of read off your names here. Tegan Russell, as I say, I want you to come up front here, if you don't mind. So don't worry, don't be bashful. We won't bite you.
You're good. Right there.
No, you're good, right?
No, right
You're
there.
right there.
Right there. It'll line up right there.
At that podium right there.
Right at the podium. Tegan Russell, Caden Russell, Landon Russell, Peyton Russell, Brooklyn Karp, Carson Brown, Nolan Brown, and Liam Lombardi. And then Anna Baker, if you wouldn't mind, if she's here. My vision's not so good. All right, there we go. This is the crew that showed us what Escalon is all about. So good work. That's awesome. So I have a few things I wanted to hand out to you. Liam, where are you? Ian Russell. Ian Russell. Brandon Russell. Last but not least, Caden Russell. All right, guys. I think they want to take a picture.
Yes, please.
I'm sure. Guys, go to in front. That way I'll stand behind you because I'm taller.
He's fleeing the building.
You don't have to leave.
Good job.
Thanks again for all you are doing and currently doing still. It's amazing to see, and I'm always blessed to see that in our community. I'm going to bring it back to the council if anyone wanted to say anything.
Sure, I'll say something. Just for the public there, they all received a certificate and it says, in recognition of your outstanding community service and generosity in raising funds to support a local family who has lost their home in a fire, your compassion, kindness, and willingness to help others during a difficult time are an inspiration to our community. Through your efforts, you have shown that even small hands can make a big difference. I'm so proud of our community and our kids coming together and seeing that there is someone going through some hardships in our community and not just standing back, but coming up with a solution and helping our community thrive. I'm very proud of you guys. Thank you so much.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to say one thing. So for those of our residents that are online watching right now, in case you didn't know, these 7 kids took it upon themselves on a day off of school to jump in and help our community. They were probably gently pushed by their parents. So, well, in that case, kids, you truly exemplify what community spirit is. You gave up your day off to help others. And that's a really big deal. And so, and to Anna, I know you're kind of hiding back there, but I know that you are offering to help both personally and with your business to help the Barzan family. And that's what makes Escalon great. And so to you, Anna, and to the kids, I feel like you truly deserve Citizen of the Month. And thank you for your kind heart and your community spirit.
Real quick, I'd just like to say how proud I am of you kids in our community. That is absolutely fantastic. And you parents definitely deserve a round of applause as well. You're raising some very great kids that are willing to step up and do something like that in their off time and spend their whole day collecting funds to help out a family in need. So just exactly what we always want Escalon to continue to be. Really appreciate you guys.
Ingo, you want to say anything?
Yeah, definitely. I just want to say thank you, and I'm truly encouraged by our youth. I think a lot of times our younger generation gets a bad rap, but you guys really stepped up and showed that that's not the case. So, kudos to you guys. You're definitely deserving of the recognition, and parents as well. Way to go. What a bunch of kids that you're raising. I would be, super proud if they were my children. So congratulations on the award and thank you.
All right. So we'll, I guess, move on to the boring stuff now.
You want to allow them an opportunity to leave?
Oh, if they want to.
Okay.
They want to stay. If they want to stay. then
Yeah. Go ahead, take off.
Take care. Thank you. Thank you.
Here goes our audience.
Oh, that looks a little bit more like normal.
Yeah. Paige, you can take your seat now.
All right, so we're going to move on to the consent calendar. Anyone up here at the dais want to pull an item?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to pull item number 5.
Okay, anything else? No?
You got the one I was after.
Okay.
That's all right.
I'm going to take it out to the community. Anyone in the community want to pull an item? Okay. I'm assuming no. Sherry, you didn't want to pull an item, right? You weren't pulling an item? Nope. Okay. Just double checking.
With that, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a
I
motion.
need, hold on one second. I got to check on online real quick. Anyone?
No,
Okay, bring it back to you.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve the consent calendar minus item number 5.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, say nay. Okay. Number 5, what do you have, Councilman Stroman?
So I read the clarification of in-rate in-district rate eligibility. And I don't know if there's a way to do this within Blue Sombrero, but I think that we're missing out on specifically student or children that are homeschooled. And so right now, the way that the policy reads is anybody within the 95320 or within Escalon School District. So I believe that if you're a charter student, a charter school student like Gateway, then you're eligible to attend those programs for our youth that are part of private schools. Technically, they're still within the school district, and might be a technicality, but if you're a homeschool individual, you're not part of the Escalon Unified School District.
I think that you're misreading that.
I think
Are eligible to be enrolled in an Escalon Unified School District school. So as long as they are eligible to be enrolled in an Escalon Unified School District school, they get the waiver.
But you
Okay,
do
so-
bring up one point, though, is the charter school, do they function outside of the 95320? Or,
Yeah, and we can just, so we know anytime you draw a line, make a rule, there's someone that's on the inside, someone that on the outside. So we tried to be as broad as possible based on the input that we heard from the council last time. So clearly reside within 95320 zip code. I think everyone is clear on. So on this, on the school one, as was read, just to be eligible to be enrolled in. So yes, charter school, homeschool, we feel those all apply because they would be eligible. Whether you choose to be in a charter school or homeschooled, you'd be eligible to be enrolled in an EUSD.
I guess that's what I'm getting at is does the charter school take in students that are outside of the sphere of 95320?
Yes, well, it depends on the charter school. So
Because I think it might be better written if that's the case to say Escalon Unified School District and Escalon-based charter school or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong, but if that's the case.
The eligibility would still rely on an interdistrict transfer. They would still be eligible for an Escalon Unified School District, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the inner workings of, but this is, because now next time we draw a line, it'll be, well, I live outside of both of these,
Right.
but, on this. The intent was to capture those who sort of, call Escalon home and in and around the community. If there's a different way to word it, maybe something we haven't thought of, a unique situation, then
I guess what I'm thinking is, what if you have a kid going to an Escalon-based charter school, but technically lives, I don't know, just outside of 95320, so they're technically in a charter school program of Escalon.
It's reside within the 95320 zip code or are eligible to be enrolled in an Escalon Unified School District school.
But they wouldn't be, would they be eligible for?
I would think if they're in one of our charter schools, we could probably
or would they?
I would think staff would be able to handle that with, you know, hey, they're enrolled in one of our charter schools here.
I just want to make sure we don't have the same situation happen.
Right.
with the-
I think like with what Jalen's saying, wherever we place the boundary, there's more than likely to be somebody on that boundary. So if there was any addendum, it would be, you know, or
Case by case. basically.
something along those lines, right? Or discernible, you know?
Okay, makes sense.
But I do think there's value. So let's say, and let's just clear this up, if someone lived in Oakdale but went to a Escalon school district school, and they're still, I mean,
Not
they're
unified.
eligible because they
Yep.
are enrolled in the school. So
Right.
we think it covers it all, but again,
Okay.
if there's any iteration that we haven't thought of, please, I mean, bring it to our attention. That's what this is about.
I just want to make sure that we thought it through, completely.
The other item I wanted to just ask, I want to ask Trevin about this. So for the family that was here previously, is this retroactive back to baseball or baseball, softball signups for this year? So for example, the family that was here the last meeting, I don't even know if did we follow up with them? Are their kids signed up now?
Yes.
Okay.
Good work.
Yeah, that's already all squared away.
All right, well, does anyone have a problem then moving forward with this? or-
I think the verbiage is solid, so I'd like to make a motion to go ahead and approve item 5.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. All right.
Eligible was the word that I missed. My apology.
So we'll go on to staff communications.
I'm glad you pulled it because I did just want to discuss it so that everything is on the record verbally where we've talked about it and there's clarification. A lot clearer than the mud we left it at last time, I guess, is what I was hoping for there.
City manager, are you ready for staff communications or?
Yeah, so we'll go for the formal number 9, which is a follow-up from an item raised at the last meeting, and then we'll go through the rounds
Okay.
for typical staff communications.
All righty then.
Second, while we pull up number 9. I'll find it, 1 second.
There it is. Wait up, okay.
One more.
You got it. Good evening, everyone, Mayor, council members. Okay, so last week we had a couple questions about how much of the city's money is invested. We had several questions, so we're going to have kind of a mixed bag of reports for this meeting. We have closed the month and all that good stuff, and all those reports will be in our next meeting. So this is the question about, I guess, the percentage. And we have about 92 to 93% of the city's money invested at any given time. So right now, that 23 million two that you see, the Cetera investments are earning the most. LAIF is probably earning the least, the second line. Our OVB sweep account, we have actually gone over the 3 million mark where we're into the tier 2 earnings. So that's at a flat 1%. So the first 3 million would be at tier 1, which is LAIF plus 0.5%, which is good, goodish. And the second tier is anything over 3 million will get us a flat 1%. So on $3 million, that would be like, $30,000. It's a lot more than what we're earning from LAIF. LAIF is getting us about $65,000, $66,000 for 3 months for about $6 million. So you can kind of see where, because LAIF is starting to wane, we're thinking about moving things into that OVB sweep. The money would be instantly available to us if we needed it, and a little bit faster than LAIF, earn a little bit more than LAIF. So it's up and coming, a switch. And I think we need to be nimble in these respects so that we continue to capitalize on any kind of improvement we can get with this.
Quick question. So obviously diversification is the way to go. However, is there any sort of state requirement to invest in LAIF?
You would think that there is because of so many cities that are in it. And then you look at the cities that aren't in it. You're like, oh, okay, there's a pattern there. These are some bigger cities that probably are not going to be involved in that pool because their money earns more other places, pretty much any other place. So, but the city did have this and it did work for quite some time. And one of our other slides tonight will show how the earnings have kind of waxed and waned throughout the years. And unfortunately, the city had their money in it when it was fairly low. And that
So-
was probably something that,
So obviously with your consultation, and speaking with the city manager, if this council decided to reduce the amount that is currently sitting in LAIF and redistribute that to one of the other investment funds, that's something we could do.
we could definitely do that. Putting the money into the Oak Valley sweep is the most accessible funds. So if we had a large project coming up, you would want to keep as much money as you would need for that project available. If it was 8 million, if it was 5 million, whatever it is. But the rest of it we could put into Cetera, and that is more of a long-term. And we kind of see that, we'll see some other slides where Cetera earns based on a 3, 6, 9, 12-month type of payout on these types of things. So that value is pretty much understated because we don't have those 6 and 9 month investments yet. They're still cooking basically. So we're waiting for that money to come in. So you'll see where we get 20,000, 30,000, all of a sudden we get 150,000 because that timing has kind of blocked those 2 or 3 steps forward. And then the value is reported. Whereas right now we're sitting here with the 12.2 there, but it's probably worth quite a bit more because we're not going to pull that value yet. But that money is money that we leave and we don't touch unless we're going to plan because we don't want to go pull money out of an investment that's working and lose any value of it. So we do have a long-term investment with Cetera. It's $1 million. That amount is, we've talked about this before, but that amount is a secured amount, the million we won't lose. But it's sitting there for a longer period of time. So if we knew, oh, I need to get that whole 12 million out because we're going to do some big project, I can't leave that million there, we wouldn't have placed that money. So we really have to kind of think about into the future, 2 to 3 years, what kind of large projects are we going to do? And are we going to need to eat into that Cetera money? So that's why the Oak Valley Bank sweep account becomes a nice middle ground. We can still get to it just like the checking account. It's instant when we need it. It earns a little bit more than LAIF. And anything over 3 million earns quite a bit more than LAIF. But it's not kind of out of reach like the Cetera money. If we needed to sell, we could, but there's the little bit of loss. We kind of want to look to see, well, what's the least costly thing we can liquidate to that money.
You know, speaking in hypotheticals, do you see any potential downside, anything that could derail you other than the bank collapsing or something in that potential sweep account scenario?
No, I like it better than LAIF because of the earning potential. I can sit there and I can say I'm going to anything over that $3 million and $1, I'm going to be earning that flat 1% on.
Mm-hmm.
So I can gauge the money. Whereas LAIF, their rates are just all over the place.
And you've, I'm assuming you've already done a pretty good deep dive on the health of the current bank we're working with, right? Oak Valley?
Yeah, and Oak Valley's fine as far as their rating and everything. So I'm not worried about it at all in that respect. That's probably the safest money. It's just like a savings account. It's
And
not based on any kind of investment of any type.
it seems like that's the way to go probably is to maybe increase that number a little bit.
And the plan was to kind of do these types of things slowly, see what was going on, see what we were earning with Cetera, being very cautious with the money. We saw that we needed the reset. We didn't want to have any bad results from this reset. And I think so far we've had very good results from the reset. So kind of just moving one step forward, we're at base here. LAIF was something that a lot of cities do use, but if you look at the forecast for it, it's not something we should stay with. At least not right now. And it might come back later. I don't have any idea about that, but whoever is making their trades and things, it's just not earning as well as it should be.
Any questions for finance?
Just one more comment on the slide here. So one of the presentations one of the suggestions by the Measure P Advisory Committee during their presentation was to invest the enterprise fund dollars to earn revenue. And so what we wanted to walk through here a little bit is, essentially the city has $23 million has $23 million. And you can see that all but 8-9% of that is in an active investment. The part that is not, the 1.7 to 2 million, is just the day-to-day cash that we need on hand, for operations. And so every other dollar that the city has is in some level of investment. And now we just walk through kind of strategy of investments and all that. And that is something that, Celinda is looking into and we're discussing. As she mentioned towards the end there, the last thing we want to do is kind of walk forward and then take a step back or, do something that loses. And so in this first year or so, we're kind of marching maybe a little more slowly forward so that we don't have to take a back step. Once we kind of get a lay of the land, we understand more, then we can maybe be a little more aggressive in it. But again, these are, taxpayer dollars that we want to be shrewd and wise with. So this is the intent of that slide, Measure P, Advisory Committee suggestion to invest enterprise fund dollars. We wanted to indicate that that is what we are doing currently.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Mayor.
Coach Jim, go for it.
So these are fairly new investment accounts, as you said, in this first year. So before this first year, what did the accounts look like before we set up this new investment
Sure.
situation?
This is about a year and a half.
Mhm.
So right after I got here, we started this. And well, maybe about 2 years now. I've been here almost two years. Would you like me to continue on to the next set of reports? This is the top view.
Oh, okay, got
And
it.
that question would be answered by our next slide.
Okay, please
We want to
continue.
go into Celinda's special reports. There we go.
Oh, we're here.
Now let's go down a couple of slides. This is our overview that we're used to seeing. We've got our Measure P. Let's go a couple more. This was our LLMDs. We have questions for that we can answer. Let's go down a little bit more. Okay, so this is our investment strategy here. And we kind of talked about how liquid everything is. If we go down to the bottom, we have some good information about things. It takes us a few days to sell the Cetera investments. We may or may not lose some money depending on how much of it we needed to grab out of there. This gives us a point in time or a pit report. At that moment, we had about $2 million in the checking account. We par it or we bring it back to 1.7 at the end of every month. So a pit report at the end of the month is going to show just the 1.7, but any given time throughout the flow of that month, you might have a day that you're going to have a little bit more. So let's keep going down a little bit on that slide, please. Okay, so right now we were looking a lot at the mid-year numbers. This was our last report. We were looking at December because that gave us a nice 6 months worth of data. So we have this report here that gives us the information as of that mid-year point. In green, we can see where pretty much year 21 through 24, there was only a net of $407,000 earned. Now, when we started changing around all these investments, the end of 23, 24 kind of helped bring up that, and you can see it cleaned it up quite a bit. 24, 25, we earned 1.2. Right now at mid-year for the current year, we're at 609. So if we just take basic math and double that, we're at about 1.2. Now that we're able to get some of that money into the LAIF sweep, not the LAIF, I'm sorry, we're getting it out of LAIF, I'm putting it into the Oak Valley Bank sweep. Anything over the 3 million is going to earn more. So again, if we're able to get 3 million in there, you're looking at a lot more earned per month in that sweep. And we're going to be pulling away from LAIF. So of course, LAIF would earn less, but it's nowhere near 1%. And we have a little table that gives us what LAIF is. And it's talking about yearly amounts. That's why we can actually see what we're getting. This is kind of the report that shows everything, the earnings, what the account balances are in the earnings accounts, what our loan balances are, what our loan payments are, what our interest portion is, the not so great numbers. But down at the bottom, we can keep going. Let's see, what do we have here? Loan payments, interest portion. So if we kind of look here, we've paid about $432,000 in interest year to date. It's pretty hard to overcome that with failing in investment. So that's kind of what we're looking at. How much can we earn to overcome this rather large amount of interest debt? So I'm always weighing that. 1.2 is great, but if I could get quite a bit more and pay some of this off, it would reduce some of this expense. So I'm kind of putting those two numbers side by side and looking to see, what are we earning? What do we owe? How long do we owe it for? And how can I reduce some of this expense for interest?
Thank you.
Double whammy on those dollars.
Yeah.
Should that also couple with the pay down for CalPERS? So
It
we'll see
does.
that increase year over year.
Yes, and that's kind of the biggest one, and that's why we focused on that CalPERS pay down, because it really does make that $1 that we're paying on their work 2 times over. So if we can kind of take advantage of the best investments at the least risk, and it really is just basics that we're trying to get this to just the baseline of we've got some good investments here and the city's going along with it. And then we can take the next step to say, how much do we really need to keep liquid and active? And can we add some more to the Cetera long terms? That would be kind of the big next step that we would take.
Just for a general statement, and it's my understanding when we pay this off, that it ends up freeing up roughly a couple $1 million for the city of Escalon to then reallocate into other areas of the city. So there is a strategy there, just so the citizens understand why that decision was made by the council and the staff.
Much like paying off your mortgage on your house 10 years early. You know, how much money would you have in your pocket if you were able to do that on a 30-year mortgage? It's the same thing we're doing here. But there is quite a bit more on these. We can go through them now. We can wait. Here again, this nice little summary shows us what we've earned so far. And the Cetera column, starting with the 7,400, you can see where it has very little. And then we kind of get that, the longer term investments payout. And we've got that 105,000 for the month, 50,000 for the month, and it gives the next big payment for the month. So we are expecting conservatively 1.2. LAIF is going to start dropping, but the OVB sweep, instead of it being under 10,000 a month, as we put more money over that 3 million mark, it's just going to grow and grow and grow. So that's where we're going to see those gains now. And this was the answer to another question we had, so we can stop here if you'd like. Want to keep going? Okay. Show me the slide. This government code 66000 basically explains how and why cities recoup fees. And that was one of the questions that was asked, was on the water fees, is there any way for us to take, say, $1 million, put it in an account and take the interest and pay down the water costs for people? So we go down just a little bit. Well, same slide, but just maybe make it smaller. Here we go. So currently the water charges right now are being billed at the 23-24 rates. Meaning we had this big study that told us what we were supposed to charge for 10 years. We kind of stopped at 23-24. There's some reasons for that. We have to go to a vote. But right now, built into the current rates that are being paid, we are not billing what was prescribed. So this kind of netted built-in hidden savings is $13.56 per billing, and then 34 cents per 1,000 of gallons. So there's a small savings built in there. If we were to use the rates that were prescribed by the specialist that came in and did the report for the city, they would be a little bit higher. That was in 2019. I seriously doubt they considered any type of economic downturn like we went through in 2019. But everything, the costs go up, they don't go down. So that's kind of what the city's dealing with in this area here. We would have to probably go out and get a new rate study to get new numbers, but the one that we had in the city already paid for, this is what is prescribed. So those lack of rate increases have kind of built in that small amount of savings. And we're just saying that, you know, the cost of supplying the water have risen with inflation and have not gone down. That answers the one question we had about reducing the water costs. And the little slide above it explained how the state expects us to collect fees. If we provide a $100 service, they expect us to try to collect $100 or no more, but at least close to. Any questions on any of this so far? I know it's really all over the place. We've got several things that we're looking at. This is a new report that's been created. We had the question of how much is earned by the different activity types. So we've got general fund, enterprise fund, and we can see for the year at this point in time at the pit of January 31st, we had earned $595,000 was posted into everyone's accounts. The big winner here is enterprise funds. They have the most money in the different accounts. And so they had earned $300,501. And if we want to see what it is just for water, we can scroll down a little bit. You can see water and surface water side by side there. Might have to make it a little smaller. But let's see, water is going to be at the 3.4 million, and it's going to have earned 75,000. And the surface water money that is sitting in a reserve account right now, it's still in the bank and everything. It's just in the general ledger. It has its own special account so we can track it. It has earned 71,000. We can see where sewer has actually earned quite a bit as an activity. They have the 5.8 and they've earned 132,000. So this is what they have in the bank right now. They may have had more at a different point in time. We know that this is the time of year that we are having more collections than we have expenses. So the amount of money in the bank is going to increase during these last 2 quarters. So this is the time when we would expect more investment earnings. Thank you.
It's
A fun report if you had any.
pretty thorough, but any questions up here? Okay.
Awesome job.
Actually, I should probably ask, any questions out in the community? No? Okay, anything online? All right, we'll bring it back. Thank you, Celinda.
Welcome. And this is online if anyone out in the public wants to see it.
Okay. Well, keep up the good work.
Thank you.
I guess we'll go,
I think we have some more staff communications.
yeah, on this, I guess you want to continue staff communications, right?
Yeah, we'll go to Trevin.
I don't have any for this meeting.
Chief?
Anticlimactic.
Last week, there was some concerns about speeders on Coley. Officer Geck has been out working traffic as time permits. He has noticed an increase in volume on Coley significantly. Hasn't really got much speeders, but he is out there.
You think there's anything in particular that would be increasing the volume?
It's the
road
closure on Main
Gotcha.
Street. People are diverting over to Coley.
So it's more,
So when you have the increase in
Sure.
volume, people, it seems like it's going faster.
so it's a short-lived problem.
Correct.
Anything else, chief?
That's it for me right now.
Up the dais, anything for chief? No? All righty.
Good evening, council. Follow up a few questions last week. We had a few questions on the street lighting, adding street lighting on First Street. We have since started the application process through PG&E. So I'll keep you updated on how that goes. They'll review it, let us know what they can and can't do. And then if there's a fee attached to that or not. So we'll make that decision at the point. We'll keep you posted on that. Also, there was the issue with vehicles going fast down the alleyway off of First Street. Since then, a team of us went out, kind of reviewed the situation and determined at this point, the best thing to do is just talk to the folks that were maybe doing the ones driving down the alley. And I know Chief has been trying to reach out to them and has I don't know if he's talked to them or not. I know you had a few times you went by, were you able to talk to them, Chief? So we'll still try to do that. We did talk to the neighbor. It was pretty apparent coming out of the alley. They have some bushes there that were approximately 8 to 9 feet high that went all the way up to the sidewalk. I did speak with the homeowner. They were totally understanding and said, yeah, definitely we could cut those bushes down. So they're going to bring those bushes down to 3 feet and about 8 foot back. So when you do pull up to the alley, at least you can see down the sidewalk. So there will be a safety improvement there just from the neighbor trimming the bushes. We'll kind of keep an eye on how the alley is going and see if there's any more that can be done. But at this point, we feel like this may help the situation. We'll keep you posted there as well.
Appreciate you guys looking into that.
And then the project down on Main Street seems to be going well. I know it's a real headache with partial closures, with detours. Right now, Main Street is open. It does look like it's closed because there's sections of the road missing, but there is AB, which is, a soil brought up for cars to drive over if you need to. We're just trying to keep that traffic that just wants to fly through there out of there every day. But technically from 1st to 3rd, it's wide open. All businesses are able to get where they need to. Patrons are able to get to the business if needed to. So we'll definitely make sure that keeps happening. I don't want to get too overzealous here, but we are a couple of weeks ahead of schedule. Things seem to be going well. The weather's really working with us right now. So let's knock on wood that continues that way. So, but overall, it's turned out really good. There's a lot of improvements that's going on that's been pleasant. So we'll keep you posted on how that goes as well.
Chief, don't you slap him, please.
Where are we on the batting cage as far as getting that sorted out? before the season, or are we
Yeah,
right
so
on
the
time?
batting cage is actually, we already got it built. We have it standing now, concrete into the ground. I would say we may have another date or two. The next few days, we're going to be welding up some hooks, installing some cables to put the net up. So it's going really well. It definitely will be ready by the time baseball starts.
Well, thanks for all your hard work. Any questions up here for Public Works?
Just an overall general comment to staff. Thank you. Thanks for all your hard work. It's very, very appreciated. Oh, and you.
Back to City Manager.
Did you want to mention our new staff hire?
If I might just make an HR notice, the Finance Department has done a couple great things this month since we last had our meeting. We've gotten out all of our W-2s to everybody within the first week of the new month, all the 1099s. Courtney was able to, our AP specialist, she was able to get that all worked out, even though the state website was down. We have hired a new accountant to assist with payroll, and there's a lot of the reporting and things that I do that are very time consuming. Our hope is that we can have better control over the fixed asset system and over some enhanced reporting for contract management, which outside of payroll is our biggest expense. We hope to find a few more hours each month to put towards that.
And so in doing that, you, for the knowledge of the community, this is going to actually help us potentially compete or bring more funds, net funds into the community, correct?
That would be the overall hope. At this point, we had two people working, finance director, HR, and payroll, and I absorbed all of those and pretty much just automated quite a bit of it. So now we don't have to replace one-to-one, but we're able to kind of move forward a step and say, great, we need help with all the different state reporting. The payroll doesn't take up as much time as it did in the past. So with these new hours being put in, we're going to be able to look for more cost savings and the contracts, looking through those, making sure that everything's right. We're not paying for any services that we don't need or could do without, that type of thing. So it should provide more of a savings. And the fixed assets is one of the city's largest items that we have. Those have to be gone through very carefully. It's almost its own little niche thing. So that'll provide me with time for that also.
Okay. Thank you.
And to be clear, this was not an added position. This was a vacant position that's been vacant for well over a year.
No more cost savings on that one, but it's okay. It's for a good reason.
Do have one item. We've been notified by Harder's office that we were approved for the almost $1.1 million CPF Community Projects Fund grant monies. You may recall last year, we were nominated and we're going to be allocated the funds, and it was contingent on the federal government adopting the budget. When the new administration came in, they wanted to have a look at some of the monies going out. And so that was, sort of on pause for a bit. Harder's office committed to bringing our project forward again. It was nominated and it's been signed into law. We now have to go through an administrative step through a federal department, and we should get the money here in the next couple of months for the surface water project.
Any other thoughts for the city manager? Questions? No? Okay. We'll go out to the citizens. Any questions for staff at all, or any of the staff? No? What about online?
Doesn't appear.
Okay.
There's two people, but no hands raised or any indication.
Okay. We'll bring it back to the dais. Any last thoughts before we go on? Okay. Go to matters presented from the audience. The public may address the city council on any item that is on the agenda at the time the item is called. The public may also address the city council on any item not on the agenda that is within the subject matter of the city of Escalon. Each speaker is limited to a maximum of 5 minutes. Unused time may not be yielded to another speaker. You may state your name and address for the record. However, it is not required. Due to state law, action will not be taken on any item that is not on the agenda. And except for brief responses, the council is prohibited from discussing any item not on the agenda. If it requires action, it will be referred to staff and/or placed on a future agenda. The determination of whether an item is within the subject matter of the city is a discretionary decision made by the mayor. At this time, do we have any matters from the audience? No? Online? Okay, we'll go public hearing. There's nothing. And we're going to administrative matters, number 10. City manager.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. This was an item that was actually on the last agenda and due to length of that meeting was moved to this agenda. So the agenda item is a request from Councilmember Stroman, supported by Mayor Hagan, to hold a general discussion on the city's rental policy and rental fees for the Escalon Community Center. In the staff report, we have provided some information not only on our current rental rates, which is on page 84 of the agenda package, but we have also looked at several communities for six communities and their rental rates for their community center, both for resident and non-resident rates, as well as weekends and weekday rates. So that chart is up now, and maybe with that short introduction, can turn it over to the requesting council member to.
So Councilman Stroman, what do you have?
Thank you, Mayor and staff. I wanted us to just have a discussion about this in an open forum. And these are just my feelings, my thoughts on this. It's nothing, I don't know how the rest of the council member feels, but I believe that, and I understand that, and speaking with staff, that the fees that were collected in FY 24-25 didn't cover the cost of the community center. I get that, and I understand that. My concern is, and first of all, the chart that's on page 85 by staff down below, great job on this, honestly. We can see where we're in alignment. Thank you, Michelle. We can see where we're at in alignment. My concern is that not necessarily Monday through Friday, but my concern is that we're not getting the best use out of the community center. And I personally believe that the reason that we're not getting the best use out of the community center is because of the rates. In speaking with the city manager, you'll have to correct me if I get these numbers wrong, city manager, but last year of the 52 weeks on Saturday and Sunday that the community center had availability, it was rented 15 times. Is that a correct number?
Yeah, used 17 times.
Okay.
Rented, sure, rented 15 times.
So used 17 out of the 52 times. And a few years ago, I had a member of the Van Allen Parents Club approach me, and because they weren't on the nonprofit list, they felt like paying, because they weren't on our approved list that we approve once a year, they were pulling, or they had to pay $850 towards the deposit, or $850 plus a deposit. Then there's cleaning, then there's security, and then there's setup fees, and the fees just keep going on and on and on. And in particular, my biggest concern is I feel like we're hurting our citizens, we're hurting our residents, especially when it comes to programs that involve our youth. Three of those times I understand last year, one was for the Escalon Sports Boosters, one was for the Escalon Youth Cougars, and the third one, city manager, was who?
Second, Sports Boosters, Escalon Youth Cougars Wrestling Club.
And the Escalon Wrestling Club. Now, I understand those are a one-time a year event, and those are on our nonprofit list. But now, actually, it's funny that we're talking about this because now the Masonic Hall is starting to advertise their hall is available for rent. And really, I just wanted to talk, I wanted to have an open conversation with the entire council and say, are we doing enough to support our community? And I almost feel like the thought process is that this is a revenue generator for the city as opposed to it's a community center. And if we have to take a loss, we take a loss. But it's to make it a true community center, how do we make it a community center that benefits everybody? I mean, and for that beautiful building to only be used 15 times out of the 52 available times, there's something amiss. I don't know what that is, but I just wanted us to talk about it in an open forum.
I think what you're saying, I don't know how much it would cost, or does it have cost, to maybe evaluate rates and see, like, in theory, if the rate was, I don't know, $200 cheaper or whatever it is, does that all of a sudden cause a volume spike in potential renters? Where's that threshold, I guess? Because you might find that it's pretty flat, or we might find that there's actually, a big spike, and in doing so, the extra volume ends up, making up for it. I mean, obviously, part of that is having to keep the place clean and running efficiently, which Public Works probably has a lot of input on that. I guess, but that would be my 2 cents is maybe we should evaluate to see how much validity there is to the actual cost, I think, relative to other contributing factors that may or may not play into it, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, and to that point, I know that those fundraisers, those 3 particular fundraisers I mentioned, are a one-time event per year because they are an extreme amount of work. I'm not saying that, okay, now they're going to have 3 or 4 fundraisers a year, but maybe that's a good start, is talking to those organizations that are on our list and say, what's stopping you from holding more events at the community center? If the rates were lower, would you hold a fall fundraiser dinner and a spring fundraiser dinner or something like that? I mean,
Yeah, I think finding what that line in the sand is, that's probably important, because you may find there's no line in the sand,
And that's-
or you might actually find out that no, there really is,
And I'd like to ask a question. I'm sure I know what the answer is. Do we have any tracking on inquiries for use of the facility? Do we know how many times someone has called and asked, hey, what's the fee schedule for this? When is it available? Do we have any kind of tracking on that?
I mean, I don't know it offhand. I don't know if we, in detail or formally, keep that data. We can definitely ask the staff and see if they recall. I mean, that information is online, so someone would be able to get it, but we'll definitely ask if there, been people who call and we give them the rates and they say, no, I need to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering if we've had, 100 inquiries, over the course of the last year and only rented it out, 15 times. I mean, it is pricey. There's, no getting around it. But I held my wedding reception there many years ago. We had no problem paying for the price when the only other option was, at the time, I think the Grange Hall, which was kind of in disrepair at the time. But it was about half the cost of it, I believe, if I remember correctly. It's been a while. But I don't know that, drastically reducing the rates is going to, cause a whole lot more use over time.
I totally understand that. I just wanted to, and you know what, to the mayor and to Councilmember Kay's point, it might be fine. And it just may be the fact that Not a lot of people want to use the community center, but at least if it comes up in the community, we say we did the research and
We took a look
There
at
might also, you might discover some other issue, like maybe it's as simple as the way it's being marketed or advertising, or you might find out by pursuing this that maybe there really is another reason, or it may literally be the cost, you know. I think can never go wrong, in my opinion, investigating it, provided it's not, you know, majorly cost prohibitive,
I have a
which I'm
question.
assuming it's not, right?
Mr. Mayor, I have a few comments when I may.
Councilman Engel.
Yeah, just venues. I think venues in general are expensive. I think we can see we're on par. I've looked at renting multiple venues throughout the area, and the price seems to be fair. You know, to reduce the cost and potentially have that additional usage, we do have to consider the additional depreciation, the extra wear and tear, the HVAC system that's going to get the extra usage, the kitchen, the electrical, the plumbing, all those things which have a high cost of repair. So, you know, personally, I think that our fees are in a good spot, you know, but to address, you know, why maybe it's not getting used as much as a person in the community who works with an organization that holds a fundraiser there at least once a year. You know, some of those issues those are massive undertakings. It takes small armies to get those things put together, and really the volunteers just aren't there. From what I've seen from, you know, the majority of those events, or even the one that I'm familiar with, you get a very small handful of people that are actually showing up to do the work. And there's lots of calls for additional help, but it's just not there. So I'm sure if there was more, you know, community output in those areas, like there may be some additional fundraisers, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of time, especially to put on those big events, like the crab feeds and the corned beef and cabbage, and, you know, these big, you know, the larger events, just a gathering like, you know, karate lessons and yoga lessons. I think that's probably super manageable, and I won't speak for Public Works, but they get in there, they know what's going on. When you're setting up tables and chairs for, you know, 300 people, and you're setting up a sound system, and you're working on catering, and then you've got all the cleanup, and then all the people that have to sell the tickets and find the prizes and hold the raffle, you know, all these things. It's just, it's a lot of work. And I would look there. I think, you know, maybe extending that out to those organizations that are doing fundraisers, maybe working out something extra with them if it is cost prohibitive for them to maybe work with them a little bit more. It's an avenue to look at to see if we couldn't encourage a few more events here in the coming years. But again,
Are you thinking like profit sharing type thing? Or are you thinking like just kind of seeing how we can get them to use our space? Or
yeah, well, for those organizations, I mean, they're big fundraisers for them when they're holding a feed or something, and they're having raffles or silent auctions or doing that, right? They're generating all of that money for them. So even if we were to work out something that saved them a few $100, there's a few hundred additional dollars that's going to go towards helping whatever it is they're raising funds for. So, you know, maybe for those individuals, we could look at something that says, you know, bring it to council. Let's talk about it. We could talk about you know, additional reduction in fees if it warrants.
So may I ask Councilmember Engel a question?
Sure.
yeah,
So, like, for example, the organization you're part of, if I think what you're saying, I just want to clarify that the fees of the community center have nothing to do with that. It's more so the amount of volunteers.
Yeah, that's not the part that causes that organization to not have additional events. That organization has looked at having multiple events in that area. The problem is putting the people together to make it happen.
Okay, thank you.
And just a clarification on an item that was brought up. So the council actually allowed staff basically to approve all nonprofits. And so a nonprofit can be approved any time of the year, and does not need to come to council for formal acceptance. Just submit the documents to staff for review and approval.
One other thing you might mention to them is a lot of the nonprofits will partner with them to use their insurance, for example, to be able to then, qualify as a nonprofit. So there may be some sort of a partnership they could do, like the Van Allen group you're talking about. Maybe they partner with one that, like, if the Lions, not that the Lions will do it, but I'm saying if the Lions hypothetically wanted to, or Escalon Strong wanted to, they could potentially help you, in those situations.
And I'd just say that the city does a great job with helping that. I know Public Works comes out and they help. The police have been great on the security portion of that. I mean, the city, I think, goes above and beyond to help in those events as it is with giving the discounted rate. But if it was something where, they were really pushing and I believe it's 50%, right? For the nonprofits, that's what you're allowed to approve up to. Is that correct?
I don't recall the number right now, to be honest.
Maybe the better solution is getting the community to participate a little bit more with these outlier groups that aren't maybe to the full step of being nonprofit, but clearly are organized groups that do things.
Mayor Pro Tem, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, may I add something? So I certainly don't want to discourage groups like the Van Allen Parents Club from using our facilities. But I want the community to realize that we are approachable to give those allowances. So if you're not a technical nonprofit, for them to come and I want to be approachable, and I do want the community to know that we are approachable and that we can approve things on a case-by-case basis. And it's unfortunate that they didn't feel that they could come on a case-by-case basis and get that considered. And whether we would allow that or suggest that they partner with a nonprofit, I like that idea as well. We would have suggestions for them so that they could use those facilities. But I do very much agree with Councilor Engel. We have seen a big drop in events due to a big drop in volunteers and a big drop. I mean, I was shortly involved with the Kiwanis when they existed in Escalon. We had a crab feed every year, but that is no longer. And partially, I mean, that was because the volunteers dropped off of that club, or they dropped off of Rotary, or they're dropping off everywhere. So, and I don't want to say that's long-term, as in the last year or two, I've seen a lot of participation in the community. I'm hoping the pendulum comes back and swings back up. But I think the rates are very comparable. They look really good. And maybe we do need to be more approachable, and it does need to be, advertising is not bad, honestly, when I look it up online. And partly we need to make sure that information is accessible as well. But 15 out of 52 weekends, that's not so bad for huge endeavors, especially when you have the Masonic Hall, you have the Grange Hall, you have the Band Hall in Escalon. We're not going to have 4 big events every weekend in all of our facilities too. So it's all considerations. I mean, but I do want Van Allen Parents Club and other clubs like that to feel like they can come to us and officially, like whether it's to staff or whether it's to council or whether it's to submit an agenda item to allow them. I would like that information out to the community that they can come and talk to us and get that done. Because it is truly, I do want it to be a community center.
Well, for full transparency, I will tell the council and the community what triggered this event. As everybody knows, within the last 5 months, we lost 2 solid community members. And their celebration of lives were held at the community center. And while the families of those individuals are grieving, they need a place to hold a celebration of life. And they had their celebration. One was Monday through Thursday, or one was during the week, and one was on the weekend. And so now they're dealing not with the cost, not only of the funeral expenses and trying to plan all of that. Now the city is coming in and we're trying to pay that fee as well. And so, I mean, and those are one-off situations. And I'm not asking for the council to consider a celebration of life fee. But because then the fees just start unraveling and it opens up Pandora's box, and when do you get it back? But that's kind of what triggered this discussion is, are we really doing the best effort for our community members at all times for the community center building?
When one thought I would have is, and this is just spitballing, but is the idea of, creating a payment schedule, like for individuals that don't have, like an emergency death, you can't really predict deaths most time, right? So
Right.
in a situation where there's death involved, maybe there's, they can qualify for, some sort of a payment schedule versus having to come up with a lump sum. That's just one thought, but other than that, unfortunately, I think, you pay money even when you die,
Right. Well,
which isn't fun, but
so I guess, I don't know how the rest of the council feels. But would you all be agreeable to direct staff to put some information online and kind of go on a little information gathering spiel with the community and say, okay, we have this community center and the council wants to know, is there anything that the council or that the city can do to encourage more use of the community center, specifically on weekends? Because and speaking with the city manager, it sounds like Monday through Thursday, it's pretty booked up between the senior programs and the rec programs. And so those are being used. And really gather that information from the community and find out, are there any roadblocks from the community? Because, I think you all have brought up really great, valid points. Lack of volunteers. And just so if people come to us and say, I want to do the community center and I can't afford it, well, okay, we solicited feedback. These are the results of the feedback we got. We may not hear anything at all, but at least start creating that dialogue. That's my point.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, one of those roadblocks are the sporting events. So if you have any type of sporting event going on there at Hogan, there's not really an ability to hold an event that would require parking. So it's a lot of those weekends that are blocked off. And I think people recognize that. We've seen that during some of the things that we've tried to do at the park. And it makes it, in its current configuration, it makes it really challenging. Now, as Hogan Park expands and, there's potentially additional parking or additional fields or any of those things, I think there's potential for that. But, I liked what Councilwoman Walker had said about the events, with all of our halls and them holding those events. So I think those are the roadblocks. If you've got, we had 17, is that what I heard? So 17 times 4 is
A little over 60.
we're getting more than a quarter, right, of those events. So, and there's always stuff going on at the hall, right here on First. The Grange has stuff going on, fairly frequently. And now, obviously, you had mentioned the Masonic Hall is now looking to rent those facilities. So I think we're getting a good, we're getting a fair market share of usage, and those would just be the roadblocks, right? We plan around events for the organization that I work with. We check to make sure there's no other events going on, because that dramatically impacts our attendance at ours. So we look. And then, you look at all the sporting events. So soccer, baseball, or what else are we doing? Flag football. It's pretty well utilized
I think
majority of the year.
the only thing that might be valid in my opinion, because what you're saying makes a lot of sense. But I guess in theory, it wouldn't cost much to call around the other cities and see if that's approximately what they're bringing in, so, percentage wise, on a percentage wise basis. And then maybe they have ideas that we haven't utilized to advertise it better and market it better, but
Yeah, no, I definitely wouldn't be in opposition to exploring. I find it, just personal opinion is it'll be difficult to turn it into an income generating facility.
yeah, I don't think that's the case in my
Right.
opinion either. I think it's more just kind of making sure that we're maximizing its potential.
And that's 100%. I'm not looking at this as an income generation program. It's more so, sorry, Celinda. I don't know what you would do with that. But
Can I make a suggestion, just as a person that's planned parties before?
sure.
One of the things that people look for is a party planner. So we're kind of going small here with these things and reducing costs and making these really small bites at the problem. If we kind of went big with the problem and maybe partnered with a party planner or an event planner,
A profit share with event planner.
something like that, that you could say, look, we have this person that already knows our building, knows exactly what amenities we have. The other thing is when you rent a building, you don't want to have to then go rent chairs and linens and china and all that. I don't know that bringing in something like that would be really a possibility for the community center right now, but partnering with somebody that had all of those.
Like something like that makes a lot of sense. If maybe we should look into that deeper. I don't know.
Income from that type of activity might actually be able to fund the free use for smaller events or for nonprofit events, as opposed to just go bigger instead of going smaller.
Would this, I guess, back to my earlier question, would this council be agreeable to at least solicit and from the community, are there any roadblocks that you feel that are currently in place that are preventing you from using the community center? And that will be the gauge. I mean,
Are you feeling like an online poll?
an online poll, posting something on the city's social media page, just to get the conversation started.
I mean, that does,
I'll support you on that.
yeah, I don't think that costs much to do. I would be fine with that. And then maybe pursuing what Celinda has to say and potentially contacting the cities around us to see if there's any avenue we haven't explored.
Well, why don't, before we start talking to a party
Like in
planner,
orders.
yeah,
you
so
know, one at
let's
a
get the
time.
information, talk to the cities, and then maybe report back to council. And then we can talk about if the council would like any future steps, talking to a party planner, but identifying the issue, and who knows? We may have just spent 25 minutes talking about this and it's not a problem at all, but at least we've had a conversation in the open forum.
Makes sense.
Well, would the rest of the council possibly be agreeable to having Mr. Economic Development over there look into this and see if he can come up with some ideas to kind of expand the uses of our community center?
Yeah,
Come up with some suggestions for us?
I'm fine with that. You guys okay with that? I think you got consensus then.
Okay.
Pretty clear on the direction. I think over time, we should really gather council's thoughts on, are we really trying to get the nonprofits and the locals to use it more? Are we trying to ensure the community center in general is used more? Are we trying to turn more of a profit? Depending on the answer to those questions will depend on what programs and ideas and suggestions we come up with.
Well, my personal 2 cents would be all of the above, you know.
I was going to give you a yes to all of it.
But, okay, then, are we good moving through? Anyone in
I
the
appreciate the open conversation with everybody because
the community have any input on this? Cody?
One thing I would like to point out is that the Escalon High School, for their prom, every year they outsource this to another town. So perhaps we could reach out to the high school, and say, why aren't you coming to the community center to conduct your prom? I know when my kid went to prom, we didn't like the fact that they were going to downtown Modesto. So rather have them here.
We meet with them on Thursday. Maybe we can ask them that.
Yeah, that just might be a good option. I wanted to throw out there. It was still fresh enough in my brain. So
Thank you, Cody.
don't forget about those guys, and maybe we could do something, I don't know, where they conduct winter formal or something like that, but I'd rather have our prom kids right here in Escalon personally than going downtown Modesto right next to the nightclubs and all the other stuff there. So
Good idea.
cool.
It's not your bedtime yet.
Ms. Hill.
Yes.
Oh, Okay. Sorry.
15 minutes.
Whatever. Okay, so this is like not on your sheet.
Okay.
For example, home burnt down, kids had a lemonade stand, they made a lot of money. What if a member of the community wanted to have a dinner at the community center to raise money for this family? Is that, so, and I might be asking in the wrong thing, but it's okay because there's only 2 people online, which is, wow, that's a record. Oh, I'm sorry. Nobody pays attention to this anyway, and me. So anyway, that's my question. Like, what if Joe Schmo, somebody like me, wanted to say, hey, let's have a dinner, let's raise some money for them, and there's a community center. Is there going to be a fee involved for that, or is it because it's community? Do we have a space for that with our community center? It's just a question.
Would make
I don't
sense, though.
expect an answer right now, but it's just a question.
Appreciate the question. May have to look into that, see if there's any ideas there.
Yeah, where you're not quite dealing with a legitimate nonprofit, but
Well,
it's still a nonprofit action being taken.
to Ms. Hill's point, I mean, there's $850 that immediately before buying food, they're having to shell out $850. $850 would go a long way.
I think there's always an exception to every rule. And so what's important is we have contingency plans for those exceptions, I think.
All right. Well, thank you for the discussion.
Anyone online? No? All right, we'll go to council communications. Councilman Kay.
Don't really have anything this evening. Seems like a short meeting and good time for me to keep it short.
Councilman Stroman.
I will also keep mine short. Once again, huge kudos to Tegan, Caden, Landon, Peyton, Brooklyn, Carson, Nolan, Liam, and also to Anna Baker, both personally and through her shop, to really stepping up to help the Barzan family. Really, really great job. And earlier when I mentioned about the kids getting a little push from their parents, what I meant by that is I have an 11-year-old and sometimes I have to give them a little nudge, but it sounds like these kids' parents didn't give them a nudge. In fact, the kids were the ones that gave the parents a nudge. So really great job for all 8 of them for being great citizens, and that's what makes Escalon Escalon. The only other thing I have for this evening is I was looking for consensus of the council to have an open discussion on preparing a council resolution, sending official notification to the state of California, standing up for, and that we are against the proposed mileage tax discussion, because the majority of our residents commute here, our local cities, some of our residents commute to the Bay Area, and that would be a killer. And so I think I would just like for us to have a conversation as an agenda item to send official notification to our representatives, Assemblymember Flora, Senator McNerney, and everybody's favorite friend, Governor Newsom. We need to stand up and say enough's enough.
I would absolutely support that.
Yeah, I would as well. I think it's a good thought to at least have that discussion and look at the pros and cons. Is that all you had?
I really like your pen.
Oh, thank you. I was given to me for Christmas present.
It says Dr. Andy with paw prints on it, so that's all for me tonight.
Okay. Councilman Engel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Excuse me. I do have two things. This Thursday, student speaker contest right here in these very chambers for Escalon Lions Club, with the topic being youth mental health, overcoming barriers to well-being. Great opportunity to listen to some of our high school students get to speak on the subject and potentially advance on to the next round. There are prizes for them and dinner at the Bonnie's following. Second thing would be from SJ Cog. We do have the One Voice trip coming up, so I wanted to ask the council if they had any appetite for me to attend this year's One Voice trip in May. I believe it's the 4th through the 7th of May. While we don't currently have any projects to advocate or promote, I was curious if the council had interest in me going and trying to pursue projects for the coming years. I definitely would have to get with staff to see if they had anything on their radar. So before I made any commitments.
What is your feeling of?
Well, I mean, it's an opportunity for us to get noticed. I did not go last year. I'm not sure if our previous representative went to any of those One Voice trips. We're small fish in that big pond, but
You think
as some of you know, I'm not shy in speaking my opinion or trying to push an agenda. So I wouldn't be opposed to going, but I would want input from the council. There is an expense that would be at my cost. And I think there is some benefit to it, but if there's not any projects upcoming or any ideas that the council could potentially present or something to push, it kind of brings us back to the small fish in a big pond. Would our voice really get heard?
I'm not against the idea of you going, provided it's something that's going to be fruitful or potential for being fruitful for the community. Maybe talking to staff and seeing if there's anything or whatever the dais feels on that. But if, like I said, I'm behind that if you wanted to.
So
Yeah, it's kind of what I'm looking for. I wouldn't mind if you went, but yes, I'd strongly like you to go. And these are the things that I want you to beg money for.
I would like you to go and beg money for our surface water project, honestly, and talk about how the Central Valley is lacking surface water connection, if that was something that we could discuss.
That I would have to get with staff. That may slightly be out of the sphere of COG.
Okay.
Unless we could somehow tie it to bigger transportation funds.
Yeah, it's typically transportation related projects. We'll let the discussion finalize here and we can look into various things that are raised.
Maybe you can
Perfect.
get us a trolley. I'm just
I like the trolley.
So Councilmember Engel,
Yes.
two things to that. One is, I appreciate your willingness to go. Personally, I don't think this should be on your dime. You're advocating on behalf of the city of Escalon and as a representative of us. So if you do decide to go, I would encourage you to talk to staff to see if there's budget for you to go.
keep his receipts.
Yeah. You should not have to pay for this out of your pocket. If I have a concern, my concern has nothing to do with you. My concern is that the bigger fish of Stockton and Manteca, et cetera, will not allow your voice to be used in the best manner possible.
I think you're familiar with my voice, Sean.
I know.
I can make it heard when needed.
I just, let's face it.
And I have spoken with them about a few projects.
I just want to make sure that, for example, the whole 120 Manteca interchange, that's an SJ Cog project. Does it have anything to do with us directly? No. But it does because a lot of our commuters are there. We can't get into the discussion right now because Frank's looking at me, giving me the hairy eyeball, but that would be my only reservation is that our neighboring cities don't allow you an opportunity to advocate on behalf of the city of Escalon.
Whether it's me or anybody else at some point in the near future, the North County corridor that's going in through Stanislaus, I've spoken to a few folks around town about this, is something that will chop off a leg of Escalon in the next 10 years. If you're unaware of the project and the bypass, right, you're going to get a lot of traffic coming off of 120 and not coming through our town. And we have limited time to respond. So economic development is hugely important, right? Finding that business that's going to continue to want folks to come through town. Fuel, if we lose even part of that fuel, we know that's a huge portion of our tax income. If we lose any of that for commuters or people traveling to the foothills or to Yosemite, if in 15 years is the proposed timeline for completion, if they have more amenities and they are a faster route than coming through Escalon, why would they? So that's on our plate to do something with that here relatively quickly. Those developments are going to take a long time to come to even planning, let alone fruition. So I do want to express there is some urgency. 15 years may seem far off, but for large projects that would help us to compete with that, we're on a timeline, and they knew exactly what they were doing. And Manteca knows exactly what they're doing and trying to take as much revenue from us as possible by getting it before they ever even get here. So we really do need to act. And if there are any projects that we can start to work on and advocate for now, it is in our best interest, but it's going to be up to us to find those projects because they're not just going to fall in our laps.
Councilman Kay, do you have any objection to?
I think that Councilman Engel should definitely attend this and advocate on our behalf. And I'm sure that staff can come up with plenty of items for him to discuss with them.
And my thought would be the same, and then just maybe keep your receipts. That way you can be reimbursed for the travel and stuff.
We'll work that out when and if
Okay.
we need to. But I wanted to see what before I decided I was going on our behalf, I wanted to see what the council.
Where is this at?
It's in Washington, D.C.
I'll have to give it some more thought before, and then I'll get a hold of you if there's
So-
something that comes to me.
Councilmember Engel, I know you're our representative and I'm your alternate, but I mean, do you think, based off your experience at SJCOG, it would make sense for any council member to go if Councilmember Kay or myself or Mayor Pro Tem could go? I mean, what do you think? Do you think it should be a coalition or just you as a representative? Because the reality is, I mean, yeah, we go to these events and nothing against our neighboring cities, but there is one neighboring city, Mountain House. It seems like every event, they bring their entire council to the event. And I don't know if we have the budget for that. And I don't know how if the community would support that. But I mean, if we're going against the big heavy hitters, just something to consider.
Maybe it's worth sending the lone wolf first and see what comes from it.
Well, I do believe there's a limited number on the delegation, but I could ask the executive director what her thoughts on that are. I think if we did send more than one person, we should be advocating for a project. This trip wouldn't be to go to fight for anything. Those projects have already been decided, and then they're going to go lobby for those projects
Okay.
now. The hopes would be to find the right person's ear and get in it to be able to try and move something for the following year.
Maybe the mayor's approach is the best, is that you kind of go as a representative and listen and see if it's worthwhile, and then come back and report to the council. And then if there is a project, i.e. surface water or sewage treatment plant upgrades, then and it's discussed.
I'll make sure to get with Steph.
Pro Tem?
Yeah, so who's our alternate? Oh, okay. Okay. If anybody, it would be the alternate, but I do think on this first trip, maybe you can check it out, make some connections, shake some hands, and talk to some people.
And kiss
Shake some babies,
You gotta
kiss some
kiss,
hands.
There you go.
kiss some babies, right? Shake.
Sure.
That's right. Okay, anything else, Councilman Eagle?
No, thank you.
All right, Pro Tem, it's your turn.
Thank you for the kids coming out and doing the work for the community of Escalon. There are no days off when you're trying to be a community participant. If you want to be a great community, if you want a great community, you have to be a great community member. And there's a lot of hope for Escalon with those kinds of kids being raised by those kinds of parents and us all participating in that way. And I have, happy Groundhog's Day. 6 more weeks of winter. That's all I got.
Ditto to what you just said. The only thing I would ask for consensus on is the idea or pursuing having staff maybe contact the DeRusi plant over there that does the nuts and seeing if maybe we could come to a mutual agreement to create a very basic parking lot like they have done with their nut products on the corner there across from the community center. They might be able to do something very similar. And I've spoke with them in the past and they need more parking. We need more parking. They would be using it during the week. We would be using it during the weekend. It might be a good little marriage there. So it may be worth at least having that conversation. And so I was hoping to get consensus to maybe have the staff be able to directly reach out to them.
Support that.
I'll third that.
Okay, thank you. Other than that, have a great rest of your week. Thanks, Tony.